Okay, this is the second in the series of how do you deal with fights and arguments that's constantly coming up between you and your spouse. And in this video, we're going to look at, what do you do when you're in the heat of the moment, when you're in the battlefield, when you're going tit for tat, butter for fat, you kill my dog, I kill your cat, when there are mudslinging going all over the place, or bullets piercing and wounding the heart, and you're escalating up and up and up eventually till there is a massive explosion within the arguments. Or what do you do to de-escalate, to deactivate, to stop the fight? In the last video, we looked at prevention is better than cure, and how do you go about preventing such issues. If you haven't seen that, I suggest there is going to be a link someplace on this video that you can go back and look at that. Secondly, I want to tell you about a resource that I've put together. It's called, give me a minute, it's called the Argument Deactivator. How to de-escalate a fight in minutes without going silent, giving the silent treatment or exploding. If you want that, please feel free to check the link below and you'll be able to access it immediately. Now, what happens when you're in the dead center of the fight? Well, the first thing that you need to know is that is not the time to solve problems. You don't solve problems when you're in the fight. When the house is on fire, is not a time to have a lecture on how to escape. When the house is on fire, when there is an emergency, you get to safety ASAP, as quickly as is possible. So your main object is not to solve the problem that you're arguing about while you're arguing. The main focus is to de-escalate, because while you're in the center of the heat, while you're in the center of the battle, what is happening is that you're not thinking properly. You would be saying and doing things that are unlike you, because your mind is not focused. Your mind is recognizing or thinking that you're under threat. So your survival mechanism has clicked in, and you are not thinking that this person, this nice, handsome man who was so gentle, who was so sweet, or this sweet, beautiful, angelic woman that you got married to, that's not what your mind is actually thinking about. Your mind is thinking about how to protect yourself from the words, the blame, the shame, the criticism, the complaints, the contempt, the defensiveness. That's what is actually going through your mind as you're not really thinking properly. You're not even yourself. The survival mechanisms of your mind has taken over, and you will be giving as good as you get. You will be trying to hurt the person as much as they hurt you. If they say something bad about you, you will be saying something bad about them. And then they say something worse, and you up the ante, and so there is an escalation of the issue. So the greatest focus when you're in the heat of the battle is to try to de-escalate and bring yourself back down to normal calm, where you could have a conversation or a discussion. I actually say conversation because conversations are easier to navigate. You are in total control of what you're saying. Your mind is thinking about problem-solving ways of navigating the issue. So there is an acronym called STOP, S-T-O-P. The first thing is S, or the first letter is S, which means to just put on the brakes, to stop. Stop. Stop hurting. Stop saying things that are just going to escalate the situation. Stop adding fuel to fire. Stop. Breathe. There is the 3, 2, 1. Think about 3 things you can see around. Then think about 2 things you can hear. Think about 1 thing that you're feeling. You need to stop. Take a deep breath. Breathe in. Breathe out. Doesn't matter what is happening with your with your spouse, the other party. You need to take control of yourself, of your emotions. Because when you're upset, when you're angry, you will be saying and doing things that wound and hurt the other person in such a way that it would be very difficult. Sometimes when you say these things, they have almost eternal consequences. You can't take those words back. And the same thing goes for your spouse. Stop. The next is the T. T is to take a step back. Sometimes to stop, you need to remove yourself. Many men, when they're under pressure, they need to just go out of the room. There is too much. They're being flooded. They need to take a walk. They need to get someplace where they could take a handle of their emotions and themselves. And so many men walk out of the room, want to get out of the situation. One guy was telling me his wife was going on and on and on and on at him in the car, and he was just feeling uncomfortable. He wanted to stop, and there was no end in sight. He felt like jumping out the car. That's equally dangerous thing for him to do. He had to shout at her, "Stop! Just stop!" I could say a lot about that, but we need to even recognize when the other person is being flooded. And when they're flooding means that their emotions are, their heart rate is up, their pulse rate is going, they are just mad. They're not in control of themselves. They're just mad. They're flooded. And that's a very dangerous place to be, because that's the worst animals that you can meet are animals that are hurt or hungry, too hungry, or they are hurt. And these animals, they don't think twice to take you out and take you down. So you need to recognize that you yourself, not only are you in danger of, right, you need to recognize that you yourself, when you're flooded, you're a dangerous creature. And you can do and say things that will take your spouse out. So take a step back. Sometimes you need to remove yourself from the situation, if that's what it takes. Sometimes you need to tell your spouse, look, I'm getting really angry, and I'm afraid that I may do and say things I'm going to regret. I just need 5 minutes to cool down. I need some space. And let's get back to this. Take a step back. Take a step out. And another word for T is to tune in. Tune in. What's going on? What are you feeling? Where are you feeling it? Sometimes people feel the heart pumping, boom, 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 boom. One lady told me she feels it in the pit of her stomach. Another person said to me that it's the throat, that there's a tightening in the throat, a tightening. So you need to grab hold. And then you need to observe what's going on. Observe what's going on within you, the emotions that are happening. What are you feeling? Where are you feeling it physically? And then what type of emotions? If you can name the emotions, I'm really feeling upset right now. I'm very angry. I'm feeling very resentful. What you said, I'm embarrassed about it. There's some shame. Usually just being able to name the emotions that you're feeling helps in dealing with it. And the P, yes, is used for pause, but also just mind how you proceed. How are you going to proceed from here on out? What's the best way? Are you going to suggest that we come back to this because right now we are not in control of ourselves? Are you going to take 5, take a break, time out? Proceed with caution. Allow yourself to de-escalate. I suggest, like I said earlier, that when you're in the heat of the moment, it is always best to de-escalate, to bring yourself down, to regulate. And then you schedule a time and a place. It could be 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It could be the next day. Let's come back when we're in total control. So when you're in the heat, the best way is not to solve the problem because you're not in total control of your cognitive functions. It's not working. The point really is to look for ways to get back in control. Talk soon. In the next video, we're going to look at some effective strategies of de-escalating, and not only de-escalating, we've just spoken about de-escalation, but how to go about solving the sensitive issues that are triggering both you and your spouse. Again, if you want that resource that I spoke to you about, it's the argument deactivator. How you can stop any fight within minutes without exploding or becoming defensive or giving the silent treatment. The link is someplace on this page. Please feel free to click and get that powerful resource that will help your relationship. Talk soon.